With everything inspected where we want it to be, we had to take it apart one more time because now we're at the final stage.
It is a dial with an SUV going downhill. That is your downhill assist.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of Defiant Jeep. Today we got another project going on with a little backstory. I was getting the legendary death wobble as I'm driving down the freeway or whatever street, and my steering wheel was just shaking uncontrollably, and I could swear it was the balancing of the tires or maybe just like a U-joint needed grease. Definitely wasn't the case. I'm going to check the grease in the U-joints anyways. But what's really happening is I took my Jeep Defiant. I took them to the dealer since I have an extended warranty. I got Max Care through Mopar. I told them to take a look at it. This is what I'm feeling. Long story short, they took a look at it. They said, you know, we can't warn the parts because they've been beat up. It's not like it's a manufacturer's defect or failure because of the manufacturer's fault, parts and labor, that kind of thing. You know, I totally get it, but it hurts. It's a lot of bread right there. They did find some kind of nut or bolt for the steering gear, the gearbox. They went ahead and replaced that. So I paid my deductible for that, and I got to fix everything else myself. And just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, let me take you to the front of the Defiant. I already got them on jack stands right now, just to prepare for this. Oh, and I went ahead and I removed the anti-sway bar skid plate just to give us more view. But let me show you the parts I'm talking about. All right, so when I was at the dealer, they said that I have a tie rod issue, that the tie rod's bent, and so is the drag link. Now, if you remember, I don't know, what is it, going on 2 years since the lift kit on Defiant was installed, and we did replace the track bar, but the tie rods and the drag link are original equipment. And we're talking about that tie rod end right there, which this is the driver's side. It's not like it's an inner and outer, it's driver's side, passenger side. And that's the bar that goes all the way across to the other knuckle right here where my foot is, if I can get there. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. And the drag link is right here. As this one here, that this failed, right on, is attached to the pitman arm. And it goes all the way down, if you follow that, to the top of the passenger side knuckle. So in order to remove these two, I'm going to go ahead and take off the nuts that are fastening them on the knuckle on both sides. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and replace the track bar one more time. And in order to get that, I have to remove this dual steering stabilizer. I'm going to try and cheat by leaving the stabilizer shocks on there, but removing the brackets to take the tie rod off, since those stabilizers are tied to the tie rod. And let's see what goodies we got in store today. Alrighty, looking back at my garage, this is what we're looking at today. We went ahead and upgraded. We're walking away from OEM. We're walking away from rough country, and we decided to go with metal cloak. So of course we got the 1-ton metal cloak tie rod assembly, the dog leg, that's what they call it, and it is all the way across. So I'm going to replace the whole thing, passenger, driver side, and center, and the drag link. That's also going to be replaced. And both the drag link and the tie rod have 1-ton ends instead of the standard whatever Jeep JKJL ends are. These are 1-ton, very heavy duty. Like, these bars are like stupid heavy. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the drag link, only because it's got a nicer adjustment on it. It's got nicer bushings, and I figure let me just keep it synonymous. And you know, I don't think there's a real need to change the drag link right now, aside of just a drag link and it's got OE type bushings, versus the metal cloak that's got their proprietary type, whatever compound it is, bushing. And these two right here, as far as the tie rod and the drag link, they're actually part of the same kit. That they actually came with one steering stabilizer, what do they call it, Rock Sport, and one bracket. So I went ahead and I ordered a second bracket so I can utilize my dual steering stabilizer setup. In fact, that is right here. These are the brackets. Let me take that out of the box. show them to you. So, and they are identical. The kit came with one. I bought a second one so that when I mount them, I can still take advantage of my dual steering stabilizer setup. And as far as tools, what we're going to use is I may use my impact wrench. I may use this hammer. You know, let me see. I got a 27 millimeter nut to these big nuts on the 1-ton rod ends, and I got a 21 millimeter nut for the factory ones. I have a 21 millimeter ratcheting box end wrench. If I need that in the cramped areas, like let's say the nut on top of the pitman arm. I got me a couple of adjustable wrenches so I can tighten down the jam nuts and you know, hold on to the bar. And that'll be the same with the drag link. Jam nut there. Oh, and the drag link itself is double adjustable. It is adjustable here, here, and of course adjustable on this rod end over here. The drag link itself has already been measured by me. I pre-measured it and hand tightened it down. I'm going to lock it down with a wrench as soon as it's installed. And that is the 32 7/8 inches recommended by Rough Country. I'm still going with those measurements because it's still a Rough Country lift, and I'm talking about springs. I know that the Metacloak 4.5 inch lift kit would have a different measurement, but since we're not in that direction right now, we're going to go off of Rough Country specs. The tie rod, you can see that the rod ends are bottomed out. They're all the way in, and these guys go in a few inches, probably right about here. So they got some length on them, and I bottomed out both ends for the method of my madness, which is once I install them both this end, the wheels are going to be very towed in. As I start to tow them out by spinning this rod right here, the rods will come out evenly distributed versus one being longer than the other one. I know me, I'm OCD, that will bother me. The only thing I got a linked measure would be the drag link. As soon as I take that drag link out of Defiant, uninstall it, I'll measure the new one. Alrighty, now that I gave you a small brief on what's going on right here, what I'm going to do, since I've already removed the anti-sway bar skid plate, which is just to give us a clear view of what's going on, I need to take the tires off, or the wheels. I need to take the wheels off. Let me see what else I need to prep. I need to take the wheels off. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble the whole thing. I'm going to take the wheels off, take off as much as I can before the install. Because really just taking off the nuts is no big deal. As far as the rod ends, oh, you know what? I forgot to mention, you're going to need a pickle fork. Oh, goodness. I got a pickle fork over here. But yeah, I'm going to use a pickle fork. And you know what? Let me get it for you. Alrighty, for those of you that don't know what a pickle fork is, this is what we're talking about. A pickle fork. I don't know why they call it that, but that's what it is. Pretty much just a solid piece of steel, two-tine or two-prong fork. And you can see that the way it's designed, you have a flat end and a tapered end. So pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to apply it like this with the wedge going down, start to whack it, and that's going to loosen the ball joint, let it slip from its place. In most cases, the stud end on the tie rod end or a ball joint, they're tapered, they're not straight. So this will actually help, you know, whack it out without damaging any other parts if you are going to reuse them. In some cases, like let's say the tie rod, there's a couple spots where you can whack it without using a pickle fork. You can either hit it on the knuckle where the stud sits into, whack that and the vibration should whack it loose. Or if you unscrew the castle nuts and just leave it threaded a couple bits, you can give it a whack with a hammer and try and knock those out. And that's only in the case that you're not going to reuse that tie rod. In my case, I'm not going to reuse it. I may go in that direction, but at this point right here, I'm going to just disassemble as much as I can, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to put it all back together. So let me get started. It's probably about 92 degrees right now. I'm not expecting it to get any hotter. Some miracle, but you know, let's see what happens. What is today? I think it's like the 21st of June. That sounds about right. The 21st of June, 2025. So probably the coldest day for this time of summer. I'm going to take advantage of it. And once this is done, of course, we're going to do an alignment, and I'm going to leave you, let me see, an image to a video I did where we did an alignment, but I'll remind you again before we're out of here. Let me just go ahead and take this apart, and then we're going to get started. Alrighty, so I guess I briefly lied to you for a little bit. I wasn't gonna show you the whole disassembly, but then somewhere between the finish of that statement and looking at what I have to do, I thought it'd be best to show you, even though it was brief and very time elapsed. I made it go very fast. So you noticed then when I was undoing the track bar from the pitman arm, I had to use a ratchet box end wrench because the areas are like super tight, and the angle may have not have been the best, but that's like the only angle that I had that I can show you as much as I could. So I pretty much loosened that nut, took it off, and then threaded on like once or twice. From there, I used the pickle fork and I hammered it in between the pitman arm and the ball joint of the drag link, so I can separate them two, and I left it hanging there. This way it just didn't dangle while I undid the other side. And as you noticed, the rod ends on the drag link on the passenger side and the tie rod ends passenger and driver side, I just whacked them out with a hammer. I know I'm not going to use these parts again because I got new parts, so that really didn't faze me. But in the future, if you are going to reuse this parts, yeah, go ahead and use a pickle fork to separate it like I did for the pitman arm. Or there are certain areas on the knuckle itself that you can whack, and the vibration should whack these other parts loose. That's really the way to do it. But right now, I got everything pretty much torn apart. I've loosened up the track bar. I just need somebody to help me with the steering wheel a little bit so I can wiggle those bolts out of there and I take that out. So let me go ahead and catch a pair of hands. All right, after putting a little bit of thought into it, I actually did not need any extra help to remove the track bar bolts. Usually you want somebody to help you with the steering wheel, jiggling it back and forth a little bit. That would actually work if the steering was still connected. But remember, I had already disconnected the drag link and the tie rod, so the steering wheel would do nothing but move the pitman arm. Really solved nothing for me. Considering since the wheels are off and it's on jack stands, I didn't want to take a chance of maybe shaking the body back and forth a little bit to see if I can get some sway in there. Didn't work. So what I did, which I used the old school pry bar, where I worked the bolts loose a little bit and I just pried them out, and they're out, and now the old track bar is out, and we're good to go. At this point, we are ready to install everything, and pretty much everything that I did to remove it, I'm going to install everything in this reverse motion, and I'm going to start with the track bar. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert it into its slots. I'm only going to put one bolt, the one on the chassis side, on the driver's side, just to keep it there. I'm not going to put the bottom bolt until the wheels are on the ground. Let me see what else. Let me see. Yeah, I got to put the wheels on the ground. It's going to be a mission because then I got to take the wheels back off to do the alignment. That's my life. But yeah, so we're going to start in that way. We're going to do everything in reverse. We're going to put the track bar on. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the drag link on. And then from there, I'm going to leave the tie rod for last, because remember, as I mentioned, that the rod ends, they're bottomed out all the way in. And so when I do the alignment, I want the tie rod ends, as I adjust them, to have equal length as they come out. So let's go ahead and get started. I believe I got everything I need. I got my gloves, I got all the parts, I got the screws, I got all the torque specs. Now the torque specs on the tie rod ends themselves are about 63 foot-pounds. Heavy duty parts like this, they can go up to 75. You know, but always consult your owner's manual to see what it's supposed to take. But I did look it up online and it told me 63 pounds, and in some cases heavy duty parts up to 75 pounds. And so we're gonna go ahead and twist it, we're gonna torque it, we're gonna make sure the holes for the cotter pin line up, because these do have castle nuts or castellated nuts. Gotta line up that slot with the hole in the stud of the tie rod itself, or the stud of the drag link tie rod end, whatever they want to call it. I guess that's what it's called. So we can put in the cotter pins, and that'll prevent these castle nuts from backing out. But okay, let's go ahead and get started. I am going to just start bolting everything together. Alrighty, folks, and there you have it. The tie rod, the drag link, and the track bar have all been removed with the old, installed on the new ones. I'm sure you even caught that little glimpse of me pinching my finger, which was a little hilarious. I'm sure how it looked, but it still hurts. I just finished torquing down the tie rods, which was the last one, the tie rod ends of the tie rod itself. I just got to put on the cotter pin and the Zerk fittings. Make sure everything else got the Zerk fittings put on there. The only other thing I have to do is set the toe on the alignment, and that's an easy done. This is what it looks like right here, and I'm going to leave a link for it below. Let me see, and of course don't forget to grease everything. The greasable points on this one is going to be all the 1-ton rod ends for the tie rod and the drag link. The track bar is non-greasable, good, because that's like in there. But don't forget to grease up everything, set your toe if you feel comfortable doing it. If you don't, please go see a professional mechanic or a tire and alignment shop to get it done by whatever computer system they're using. This has definitely been great. As soon as I set the toe, I'm sure the thing's gonna sail like a boat. Well, maybe not like a boat, it could be a wrong expression, but I'm sure it's gonna glide like when it was new, which that's what I'm going for. Thanks for watching. I hope I was able to show you something new. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and click that little bell. Please go ahead and join us on all of our social platforms. And don't forget to visit us at www.defiantjeep.com, where you can find all of your Jeep Performance accessories, camping gear, and other merch. We'd love to see you on the trail.